This is Luberdowski of WeAreChange.org, and I'm joined here by my good friend Keith Pathleone. Now, if you know Keith, you remember last year we did a story with him where he was actually arrested in his own house when cops entered his premise without a warrant. They arrested him for having a gun, and they were denying him bail. He was facing serious jail time. Now, we found out about this story. We interviewed Keith's girlfriend. The story went viral, and he was finally offered bail. We bailed him out, got him out of jail. The story went all over the internet how cops just ransacked into his house, took his guns, arrested him with no probable cause, with no criminal background or history at all. The story is insane, and we have some very good news to provide you here today. Keith, what happened and what's the good news?
Well, I'll give you the long story short. So basically, we had a suppression hearing, and I wish I had the document in front of me, but basically the judge, after listening to the testimony from the two cops, the two witnesses that the state brought against me, he said that what the cops testified had no ring of truth whatsoever. Basically, he went point by point, all the excuses that the prosecution might use for the cops being there. Number one, saying that it was for community caretaking. Well, the person who called the cops, because there was no heat, said that he didn't want to go to a hospital or to a homeless shelter. So whatever emergency or caretaking role was diminished. The other thing that they claimed was plain view. And one of the key things the judge asked is what criminal activity was being witnessed when they, A, entered my home without permission, and B, entered my bedroom without permission. And then the last thing was they would try to say is, oh, well, the landlord was there and we just happened to be there. Well, the landlord had no right to be there. Even in my lease, it stated that not to come in unless it is an emergency or without my pre-approval. Well, the emergency doctrine was already thrown out, so they had no legs to stand on. The cop actually tried to lie, saying that everything was laid out bare open, but I want you guys to think about this. I was careful enough to keep my weapon in my case at the last possible second, just in case I wouldn't have to pull it out, but yet I would leave everything else laying out there. Please. Well, my lawyer was sharp enough to catch him in a lie, and basically he didn't show his hand, but he got the cop to basically get on record that what he had practiced, and then basically destroy that argument. So after careful consideration, the judge said that, all right, all evidence is suppressed, which means they have nothing they can press against me. Now, the best part is, instead of the prosecution saying, okay, look, obviously this guy's not a criminal, as long as we had him in jail, as long as we put him through all this nonsense, he has not shown up on our radar, let's just drop the charges. No, I had to go back to trial court two more times until finally I got this document, which basically says all charges are dismissed, which means I am yet again, for lack of a better term, a free man.
Now you were affected by this severely because you lost your job, your reputation. The story was in the news, local newspapers, about how big of a criminal you were, even though there's no evidence of that at all.
Oh, don't forget they compared me to Adam Lanza.
Yeah, it was just insane because if you're a gun owner, you're not automatically a criminal, but they just totally destroyed your life, your reputation, and just going through this, I'm really happy to see the charges are dismissed. But what is the learning lesson you took away from everything?
All right, here's the lesson that I learned. Gun control is not about guns, it's about control. Because the thing is, even though even the prosecution admitted that I'm not a criminal, I had no prior record, I have no history of violence, but their main focus was, well, we just got to get the guns out of his hands. Why? Well, and before some of you people say, well, guns are bad, okay, I understand some of you have fears about guns. What I'd recommend is you find somebody who's qualified. Preferably, what happened to me is you find somebody who was formerly law enforcement, have them take you out shooting, teach you about the basics, and if you still feel the same way, fine, that's no problem. Now, the reason why I say that it's not about safety and protecting kids and all the other excuses they come out with, here I have a book written by my lawyer stating what the New Jersey gun laws are. One of them is that, did you know that the same Red Ryder BB gun in The Christmas Story would be considered an assault weapon in New Jersey? Unmodified, as you saw in that movie, would be considered an assault weapon. The slingshot that Dennis the Menace carried in his back pocket would be considered a weapon, and possession of it is a fourth-degree felony in New Jersey. Now you tell me, how is that protecting us? How is that preventing gun violence? It's not about guns, it's about control. And one of the things that some of my favorite Liberty talk show hosts would say is that the Second Amendment by itself cannot stand alone. It protects the first as well as the first protects it. All the amendments in the Bill of Rights are put there to protect each other, and namely to state all the rights that they could, that we naturally have, and this is what the government is there to uphold.
Now, when you were in jail, like as soon as I heard about the situation, knowing you personally, we just went right into action. Now, even though lawyers a lot of times are like, don't ever do a video, don't ever go out in public, don't ever say anything publicly before the case is settled, we did the total opposite. Do you think the videos helped you in the long run, or didn't help you?
Man, if it wasn't for the video, I don't know if it would have been possible to raise the amount of money that was necessary to cover my legal fees. And I thank each and every one of you out there who supported me. Because even if you didn't have anything to donate to my legal defense, the fact that you passed on the video and made aware to everybody, people that I've never met in my life were sending me kind words saying that, hey, brother, we're out there supporting you, we're helping you. And to some of those TV networks who will remain nameless, you know who you are, who like to race bait and divide the country. No, it's not about the topics that you put forward. It's about freedom, pure and simple. Whether you're black, white, male, female, it doesn't matter. None of that matters. There's only two types of people right now in this country. It's those who want freedom and those who would settle for slavery.
Now, finally, you're a free man. What's next?
What's next is I try to make myself whole. And as I promised, one of the first things I'm going to do is to sue and make myself whole as best as I can. And the next thing is to put whatever efforts that I have into making sure nothing like this ever happens in Jersey again. Whether it's making Jersey a may issue become a shall issue, or what I would prefer, a constitutional carry state. But I know it's not going to be something that's going to happen overnight, but I'll do it for as long as it takes it to get done.
Keith, it's good to see you as a free man. We have another win in the info war. Freedom will prevail. Justice will always be there in one way or another.
And remember, persistence always beats resistance.